as witnesses with my sisters and brother, nieces and nephew. Ida's death in our home, I can say that Ida passed very warm, soft, under God's loving seal. Through her wonderful and full life, Ida was ready to be sealed by God. Like the wise young women in today's gospel, at least half of them, 5 of them, ready, lamp full of fuel, ready for the final journey. And how do we ready ourselves? One way is to say is by paying attention. For what you pay attention to, you care for. And what you care for, you love. And that love comes back to you. My mother paid attention to hospitality, as we all know. Hospitality, I like to say, in the form of food and a listening ear. She was devoted to expressing her deep love for her family through meals. She took from her roots of Arevalo Beach in the Philippines a reverence and a joy of food that brings people together in harmony. She adapted to American culture by setting a table of rice and mashed potatoes, fish and hamburgers, mangoes and apples. But she didn't just use this gift only for her family, but with everyone. She had a desire to help the outcasts, which she brought with her from the Philippines. On one occasion, I remember helping her feed a big hall conference room full of homeless people here in Fairfield, a home-cooked meal. She seemed to have all the time to listen to the other. And some of the other, those people were considered outcasts by more polite society. Another way she paid attention was to prayer. She was a woman of prayer. The rosary, novenas, daily mass, and later in her life, daily Bible reflection were integral to her everyday life. She would always be praying novenas for family and friends. Just a few days before her death, she was praying a 9-hour novena to Our Lady of Perpetual Health for her granddaughter, who had some problems with her legs. And by the way, those problems are no longer there. My mother wasn't one to give a lot of advice. She just watched, waited, and prayed for her children, some of whom, especially me, who at times wandered from the path. But she never corrected me, she never scolded me, she never advised me, she just kept on praying novenas for me. The verse on my ordination card, I think now I got it from my mother, and Mary treasured these things in her heart. That was my mother, observing, silent, accepting, contemplative. She had a devotion to Our Lady of Perpetual Health, and I think she too took that vocation to pray for others. As a family member recently said, maybe we should call her our Mother of Perpetual Health. She was always helping people, especially through prayer. We all know the expression, what goes around comes around. What Ida paid attention to, cared for, and loved came back to her in her life and her last days with us. She was ready to meet Brother Death by the way she lived her life of hospitality and prayer. What she did for others was done for her. Not that that was her intention. Freely given to others, we see that and seek first the kingdom, and these other things will be given to you. As you live for others, it will come back to you. It is not an accident that all of her children and grandchildren were with her in her home when she took her last breath. It wasn't just luck when her children took care of her through her long illness, especially these last 3 months. hospitality and prayer, she was ready. Ida called her children to be with her through her life of hospitality and prayer during these last days. She did not ask her children to help her. We couldn't help but come back. I came back. I left Africa, the other side of the world, on Holy Thursday and got back here Good Friday. I felt impelled to come back. We couldn't help but come back and be with her because Jesus said, I have not chosen you. You have not chosen me, I have chosen you. We think we're the movers, but we ought to be the beholders who answer the call. We as her children did nothing out of the ordinary. We had to be with her. We answered the call because of her love. There is an appointed time for everything. A time for every affair under heaven. Let us pay attention to the different seasons in our lives. Let us pay attention to each other. Let us pay attention in faith to Christ's time of the Paschal Mystery, whereas the song says, everything bleeds into one. In hope, let us ready our lamps to welcome the end of our lives when it comes. In love, let us be ready with soft and warm wax when God calls us to life eternal, just as I did.